just a young gun with a quick fuse. Whatever. Imagine Dragons. You get I think we all get the thematic relevance here.
Yes.
So, welcome to StillerBros at the Movies, and today we are going to be seeing a new movie again, because that's just what this series is at this point.
Yeah.
So, How to Train Your Dragon.
Yes.
It's one of the more interesting things that DreamWorks has ever put out.
It's probably the best thing DreamWorks has put out.
Mostly because it's different. It's not like, it doesn't rely on like huge pop culture references like the Shrek franchise. It's not like, it's not weirdly out of place, but
it's not like B-Movie or Baby or Boss Baby where it's just freaking weird on every level.
But this and Kung Fu Panda are probably going to be regarded as the best DreamWorks movies that did not have to get turned into memes before everyone was like, this is so great.
Yeah.
But anyway, How to Train Your Dragon kind of came out of nowhere when it first came out.
Well, we saw the first one because we were bored, and it was either that or Hot Tub Time Machine in that weekend.
And boy, did we make the right choice on that one.
And then we saw the second one just randomly last second the night we saw it.
Just before we saw 22 Jump Street.
Yeah, it was we flipped a coin on that. Yeah, again, coin flip, but we ended up seeing 22 Jump Street anyway because 22 Jump Street was amazing.
Yeah, you guys know that because that's actually the one that actually got an episode of the show at the time.
Yeah.
But anyway, when it comes down to How to Train Your Dragon, it's loosely based on a series of books. That's about all we know about that. But the movie series as is was actually created by the two creative minds behind Lilo and Stitch,
Chris Sanders and Dean DeBlois. Now, after the first movie, Chris Sanders went on to go work on The Croods for DreamWorks. We have not seen that one. But Dean DeBlois, when they asked him, do you want to do a sequel? He said, how about I do 2 sequels so we can make it a trilogy? Because he's a big fan of Star Wars.
And as such, he has been the auteur creator behind both the How to Train Your Dragon movies that have come since then.
And these movies are beautifully animated and have this amazing deep story behind them and everything.
And because they're a DreamWorks movie, they're crammed to the gills with the celebrity voice talent. But you kind of ignore that for the most part because the story is so well told, and it's not just like, hey, look at this celebrity, look at this celebrity. Hey, remember this guy? He's in it.
Especially since in the 12 years maybe. I don't know. In the years since the first movie came out, these celebrities have kind of some of the celebrity voice cast has kind of faded out of relevance.
One actually was on the rise, and then he just completely screwed up his entire career by just being a complete jerk to everybody.
Yes. Most recently. However, I think the biggest star now on this movie is Jonah Hill. But we're not going to talk. But let's not talk about the celebrity voice cast, even though we got some pretty good names with Jay Baruchel, who we've seen as funny in a couple movies. America Ferrera, Superstore is like a hidden gem right now in television.
Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Oz, just because he was like the early 2000s tried to make him a thing, and unfortunately for him, it didn't work out so well for him.
Nick Lovin, we are sorry. We have Gerard Butler, Craig Ferguson, Kate Blanchett, and Kristen Wiig,
and one other guy who we're not going to mention because we already promised we were never going to mention him again.
Kind of, yeah. We kind of sort of did, yes.
So, that's it. And the story, but basically this is DreamWorks making an epic fantasy movie, a series of epic fantasy movies that is not crammed to the gills with fart jokes and pop culture references. Yes, we know it's kind of weird to be on the internet saying something that even could be remotely curved as negative against Shrek, especially since we actually like at least the first 2 Shrek movies, maybe the first 3 if we're being generous.
Yeah, but ultimately, this is still the best. This franchise is still the best DreamWorks has to offer. And
hopefully they hit it out of the park with this one again, because because the first two are so good. Mainly the problem with the How to Train Your Dragon franchise so far is that these are really, really good movies, but then in the intervening time between them, you kind of forget they're there until they announce that they're making another one.
I mean, this one took forever to make. I was so pumped going out of How to Train Your Dragon 2, like, all right, let's get it, part 3, let's finish this trilogy out strong. And they just kept moving the release dates more and more, farther away.
And it's been like 5 years, and it's been like almost 5 years now, and here we are.
Yeah.
So once again, it's kind of easy to forget that this franchise is here, mostly because DreamWorks, and it's not for lack of trying. DreamWorks has built a lot of expanded universe stuff for How to Train Your Dragon. They made a team. In fact, to fill in the gap between How to Train Your Dragon 1 and 2, they've got like 3 holiday specials and 2 TV series.
6 seasons of a TV series. On switching between Cartoon Network and Netflix. They also have a stage show and an ice show and not even a stage show, a live arena show.
So that's something. So all throughout, and so it's not for lack of trying that DreamWorks has tried to make this thing, to make people remember this thing between the actual movies. It's just the fact that in the long run, these are fantastic movies with great cinematography and animation.
Cinematography, you got Roger Deakins, one of the best cinematographers working in Hollywood today, doing the cinematography stuff for him.
But they're just really good kids movies that unfortunately you forget between.
There's so much other you kind of just get swallowed up by all the other content that comes out, like the fact that in 2 weeks we're getting another Marvel movie.
That's just gonna explode onto the scene, and that's something.
So this might just get 2 weeks, and then this might just get 2 weeks of good numbers, and then suddenly they'll be torn apart by Captain Marvel. So
yeah, I guess that's all we gotta say for right now, because we'll probably get deeper into this when we actually go see the movie and get out.
Yep.
So we'll see you after the jump.
Yep. Bye. So, do we look like we've been crying for like the last 2.5 minutes of the movie? Because we did.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
That was an amazing way to end this trilogy. I'm so satisfied, and I'm on the brink of tears again, because that just made me think of something very personal, and it just. I'm gonna need a second, so you talk for a little bit.
Okay, so it says something when this movie, despite the fact that there are huge gaps in its release schedule, that the fact that that you almost forget that it happens until that the movies are still being made until they say that they're being made, and they can still make you feel like that. It's so good.
It's a thing of beauty. It was exactly the kind of emotional thing we needed to get to end this.
So let's get into it. It's the third movie in a trilogy, so obviously it's going to get a lot of the stuff that most third movies in trilogies get. Like it ties up every loose end that needs tying up. It gets tied up, except maybe one or two. Like, where the hell did Chaman Tahanzu's character from the last movie go? They really don't explain that. But there's everything that needs to be wrapped up is wrapped up, and there are callbacks, and they are fun callbacks. So that's always wonderful.
The relationship between Hiccup and Toothless has come to this point. They jump ahead. Obviously, we haven't watched the show. The movie jumps ahead. The last one jumped from the first one to the second one. There was a 5-year gap. This one, there's a year. So, but it doesn't feel like we're just jumping in the middle of their story. You feel this connection between the two of them. It's a very perfect boy and his dog story.
Obviously, they jumped in at this exact point in the narrative because then it feels like it picks up exactly where the last one left off. And in many ways it does, but it's but the story is very. It's kind of grown up for a kids movie, considering that the story is essentially, yes, it's about dragons and epic little sometimes comedic battles, but the problems are very like mature. There's an entire arc for Hiccup is that he has to deal with not only the fact that he has these. That he has to deal with all the dragon problems, but he has to deal with these very adult problems like infrastructure for this new order of things, and his commitment to Astrid, who he's been dating for 6 years at this point in the story.
And it's a lot of things to take in, and ultimately, I think littler kids. Obviously, these movies were made for kids with kids in mind, but real little kids. It's probably not for them. There was a kid in our row, maybe like 3 years old. He was standing up and walking around for most of the movie.
So, it's not like there isn't anything for them. There, of course, like I said, there's little comedic moments throughout the fights to keep the kids invested, and constant motion and everything like that. So it's not like there's a whole lot of stuff. In fact, one of the best scenes in the movie is a scene that is a flying scene between Toothless and this new Light Fury character. That's basically like DreamWorks saying, "Eat your heart out, Andrew Stanton. We got this bitch in the bag."
And it's just this. The scenery is beautiful, and there's so much vibrant color around everything, and it's just the animation is fantastic, almost photorealistic at times, and a lot. Probably one of the bigger things is that there are long stretches of time where there's no talking, because we're following Toothless for certain parts of the movie by himself without Hiccup, and there's no talking.
It's a movie that trusts its audience to understand what's going on without Jay Baruchel having to explain it to us. But it's fine because Jay Baruchel's likable enough. He's a nice, likable lead. He's awkward and shy and all that kind of stuff. Which is why pretty much every movie he's in, the essential arc for his character is toughen up.
But ultimately, this is about the characters, and the character moments are hit in the greatest place emotionally. It's so hard. It was so hard to stop crying by the time we got to the end, because it just hit you with every emotional punch that you could possibly hit you with, and more.
And the performances, like America Ferrera as Astrid, and Jay Baruchel as Hiccup, and Kit Harington as Errant, and
Kate Blanchett as it's just these characters. We feel like we know these characters because we've followed them for 3 movies, and now it's time to say goodbye, an actual goodbye, not like with Shrek, where where we got Shrek Forever After, and now they're just gonna fucking reboot the damn franchise with Illumination.
Yeah, good luck with that, by the way. And it's weird. I feel like we were the weird guys in the theater because we were like audibly crying throughout the entire last few scenes of the movie.
Yeah.
So I feel like a few of the families were a little weirded out by us.
The 2 almost 26-year-olds bawling our eyes out in the corner of the theater.
Didn't even bring a kid with us to justify being in there.
Yeah.
So,
But ultimately, this is truly a great trilogy. Dean DeBlois got to make his trilogy, and he got to do it exactly the way he wanted to, in every conceivable way. Except for one, he had to recast somebody.
It's fine. It's fine. You could barely tell the difference until he started talking for long stretches of time.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. This movie is. I'm not going to say it's flawless, because obviously but it's photorealistic. I feel like there's a few scenes you could have moved around a bit.
I felt like it could have been longer. There's definitely more we could have gotten explored with the villain.
But
it's definitely the weaker of them, probably the weakest of the movies.
maybe, I don't know. It's hard because we don't like pop in the Blu-rays for the first two as often as we could.
Yeah.
And when it comes down to it, it's all so good, and I'm sure Dean DeGlow is pretty happy because he's like, I did this, I did it all, I finished it, now I can go work on some new project. Now I can go work on some new original projects.
And whatever he's got going for him, we're in. We gotta be in now.
I think one thing we should talk about is the animation around the dragons, particularly Toothless, because I've been saying it recently, but Toothless really looks like Stitch from Lilo and Stitch, so not all the time, but there are points in the movie and everything like that where you can just kind of look at it and be like, yeah, I can totally tell that the guys who directed Lilo and Stitch had something to do with the design of this thing.
Yeah, because Toothless looks nothing like that in the books. But again, it's a loose adaptation of the books. It's very Lord Miller in the sense that they just took the basic premise and used that as jumping off points used any kind of premise they could get and used that as their jumping off points.
And I think it really speaks a lot that they just made Toothless a big cat.
Yeah.
Where it's basically just, they made it like, he's just a big cat. So that kind of makes him a little bit more easy to adjust to. Especially since every other animated movie seems to just take animals like that and just make them dogs.
Yeah. But
what else can be said? The How to Train Your Dragon trilogy is solid.
It's a great trilogy. It's a great trilogy. When they go around saying it's one of the best film trilogies of all time, yeah, pretty much. It's good. I mean, I don't think I've cried this much in an animated movie for a third installment since Toy Story 3.
And in the end, it's just awesome. By the way, you said it like a week ago that we hadn't seen a trilogy in theaters ever. So, eat your words, man.
Well, we have now. No, I said, yeah, I meant
all three Toy Stories, man.
Yeah,
all three.
We have not really seen much of a trilogy, but
that's it. But that's it. We saw the whole trilogy in theaters, and God, it's awesome. The flying scenes are still fantastic all the way through.
This is like, it is a pinnacle because a lot of the times with trilogies, it's either MCU that we obviously I've seen everyone in theaters, so we've obviously seen those whole trilogies, or we've seen Toy Story trilogy, but usually we jump in when most of those iconic trilogies got started. We were jumping in and partway through, so we didn't see Spider-Man 1 and 2 in theaters or anything, but this time we saw it through to the end because we wanted to. And
I'm going to say the exact same thing I saw going out of How to Train Your Dragon 2. This is the movie that Aragon should have been.
Yeah.
This is the epicness. This is the wonderfulness. I love the Inheritance series. Well, until the fourth one where it just got really long and boring, and I don't even know how that last book really ended, because by the end it was just all up its own ass with the politics. But this is the movie that Aragon should have been. Fun and epic in scope and scale, and with these fun characters and everything like that. Don't make it a Lord of the Rings ripoff. Make it, if you're going to remake them eventually, rip this off.
Yeah. This is just exactly the kind of movie that DreamWorks should be more proud of than Shrek. This and Kung Fu Panda, are their two best franchises because they're beautiful stories with emotional cores at their center and just beautiful animation brought to its full potential.
With jokes that are not too forced.
Yeah.
So, I think we can just say, go see How to Train Your Dragon 3. I mean, it's just beautiful, and if you loved the first two, you're gonna love this. If you haven't seen the first two, get on that and then go see this. I don't know what you're doing at this point, but
just do it.
If you haven't seen the first two, then why are you watching this video?
Yeah, just do it. Come on, get in there. This is great. This is the best
trilogy. This is one of the best trilogies that DreamWorks is ever going to make, probably, unless they make more movies.
But this is it. This is done. They're not making How to Train Your Dragon 4. Search for Toothless's amulet of power, whatever the fuck they're gonna do, cash grab sequel they can make out of this.
Yeah, this is it.
This is it. This is done. There's nothing left. Never make another sequel. Don't reboot this. Just finish it here.
Anyway, on that note, guys, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave in the comments what you thought of How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, in the world. If you've seen it. If you haven't seen it, then just go see it, please.
Yeah.
And be sure to tune in next time when we find out what makes her a hero.